All right, welcome to the third annual Mad Story Slam. Thank you for being here. My co-host today is Anna Cabello, who was the Interscholastic Story Slam winner last year. Thank you. And as most of you know, I'm also joined up here with Miss Gomez, our sophomore and senior English teacher. This is a live storytelling competition. So, storytellers, story slammers, have up to 5 minutes to tell a true story on a theme. And this year's theme is endings. So it has to be a true story about something that happened to them. And the students that are competing this period are the ones who won for each of their class periods, each of their sophomore classes. So they've already made it through round 1, and this is round 2. So after each story, the judges have the unenviable responsibility of assigning scores to each performance. Before we begin, it takes a lot of courage for these folks to get up here, so I want you to honor that. Please be supportive, be respectful, laugh when it's the right time to laugh during a story, nod your head. We're going to clap them up to the mic, and we're going to clap for them after they're done. Okay, teller, our first storyteller is going to be Rue.
Hi. So it was a cold but not too cold day in the 3rd grade, and it was nice. I was with my friends, it was recess, it was good. I wasn't too cold, I wasn't too hot, because I had a head warmer I call a hijab. Everything was good. Moments like that are good. So, a minute later, maybe even a second later, my hijab got ripped off from behind me, from a boy much bigger than me. And you know those movies where it's action movies and the guy is walking away slowly from a burning building that he just blew up, and he looks so cool and the building is just blown up behind him? I felt like the burning building behind him. He was walking away from a disaster he left behind, and I felt awkward and naked and afraid in public. Everything was somehow still going in slow motion. I thought this only happened in movies, but it was weird. And then flight or flight kicked in, and I started to run as fast as I could into the bathroom. Recess was over, so a teacher called me into his classroom so the boy could apologize, I guess. This apology went nowhere because I just got a visual of this Hulk-sized man compared to Ant-Man. And I felt small. In this huge world, in this huge school, I felt small. And this kid was huge. And imagine someone being taller than me. Don't answer that. This kid was Hulk compared to Ant-Man, and I felt small. So he apologized, and I took it as an apology, I guess, and I felt weird. And then I realized that this is the beginning of the end of what I knew what Islamophobia was. Thanks.
All right, ready? How about Zach?
Can you all shut up? I need quiet. So it was like seniors last day last year, I was a freshman, I was in science class. My teacher back at the time was Mr. Tree, no offense. And then it was 10:30 a.m., I signed out to go to the bathroom. And when I went in, it was cool, I took care of my business. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and all of a sudden it was a lockdown. So I was scared, I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was fake, or I didn't know what was gonna happen. So I was going back to the classroom. He said, "Please see me," but then he closed the door on me. What? I was like, "Did you see one of these glasses out here?" Yeah, bro. And I just go back in. Then I see 2 seniors. I didn't think nothing of it. And they're like, "Hey, don't snitch," Then I went outside with them. Then no one was gonna accept me in their classroom, so I just went back in the bathroom. Then I seen some like bugs, like cockroaches and crickets. I was scared. I was like, what? People better be really putting bugs in the bathroom? Damn. If I was a scene, I'll never do that shit. And like, long story short, like I was scared, so like, I posted like my shit on my Snapchat story, like I said, help me, bro, like anyone. And like German, like he's the real one. Told Mr. T to get me out of the bathroom. So like he came in the bathroom, and I was like, what's this guy doing? Now he gets me out in like 20 minutes, bro. I was pretty pissed. Then like I go back in the classroom. These guys are weird. They didn't even know I was gone, bro. I was freaking pissed. Now I'm freaking sophomore, like, I'm getting big things done, like, my science teacher now, Mr. Knizer, he's alright, so, like, yeah. Yeah, door on my head, bro. That's fake. Alright. I'm out, bro. That's all I'm looking.
So our next storyteller, give a round of applause for Andrew.
Who here was a dumb kid? Raise your hand. If I don't see hands, I'm mad at all of y'all. Who here was a dumb kid? Right? If you are a dumb kid, raise your hand. Oh, we're a dumb kid. I probably was dumb. Just saying. I was in 8th grade when I had a good friend. His name was JD. We often did things. But me and him often did things like spend the night at each other's places. Normal 8th grade behavior, I would assume. But one night, I fell asleep kind of early. Now, I didn't get my face drawn on, thankfully, but I did do something later that night that I instantly regretted. I woke up with JD standing over me, hunched almost. Right, I was on the floor. Right, some reason he was on my bed, but I was woken up. Right, and he told me, hey, let's go to our school. It was 1 a.m. in the morning, which not a normal time to go to school, I would assume so. Unless you have real night school. But me and him went to our school. Halfway there, he told me that he had a hammer and pliers. He told me he had these for self-defense. I understand having a hammer for self-defense, but pliers, I don't think are a self-defense weapon. You still killed a man with pliers. I haven't. But I got this. And he said, I got this, and it was recently, and we had these things for them teachers to get in the building, these card scanners. JJ said, after handing me the hammer, pry that off. Me being the lovely kid that I am, pried it off. So, I had this in my hand, and it felt heavy at the time, but I'm not a strong kid, and I never will be. I had this hammer, not the hammer, the card scanner. And we took a step back, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. It has electronics, it's made out of plastic, it's PLP, LED. Anyway, I was analyzing it, and then he said, throw it out a window. I'm like, whoa, excuse you? And he said, throw it out a window. So me, being the dumb kid I am, threw it out a window. Now, at the time, I thought, oh, this is what friends do. And you know, oh, you have that one friend that helped you break into your school. You know that one friend. I broke a window, and he said, climb through it. And I went, So I climbed through it, being the dumb kid that I am. I climbed through the window, and it was a computer lab. Right? I walked outside, and has anyone been to middle school with those push doors that lead out to the playground? I went there. I went around, opened the door, right on in. So I let him right on in. Right, he went inside, and we got to the computer lab. Right, he asked for the hammer, and I'm like, sure, why not? It's just a hammer. So he had the hammer, and I decided to take breaks. So I sat down, as soon as I sat down, I heard two loud pops. And these weren't pops of, oh, the electronics are exploding. No, these were pops of your best friend grabbing a hammer and breaking it into twice. Which is not a fun experience, as you could assume. Me, being the dumb paranoid kid that I was at the time, heard something outside, the wind. I assumed the wind, but I'm 85% sure, and a half sure, that the wind doesn't say things like broken window, and it doesn't make the sound of a pencil scribbling on a paper. So I opened the window, opened the blinds, and I made the worst possible eye contact of my life. Like, I opened the window and I made eye contact with a cop. Instantly, there were two cops and I made eye contact. And this sat in the air for 3 seconds of like, oh. So, I decided to take a left, run up the building. I don't think I told JD, but I'm pretty sure I might have. I ran, I took a turn, and I have glasses, as I do now, and I took a turn and tripped. And I picked myself up and looked where I was, and I was in a dead end. This dead end was kind of my fault. I saw a light behind me, and I turned myself in. That was the last time I ever talked to JD. Awkward ending.
Let's get ready to hear another fantastic story. Please welcome up Cindy.
I settle myself real quick. Hang on. Okay. So this happened maybe not too long ago. This was my trip to Vietnam, how it started, how it ended. I hadn't gone to Vietnam in maybe 5 years or so this is my first trip back in a long time. And I, had gotten older, and I definitely changed from 5 years ago. So when there was the day finally came for me to come, and I was packing all my stuff last minute. My parents and I were out the door at 5:30 a.m. It was super early, and I was super tired. And we had to spend literally the whole entire day on planes. It was a 2-hour plane ride to San Francisco, 10-hour plane ride to Japan, which was horrible because I sat next to a guy who didn't understand English. And so whenever I told him I had to go use the bathroom, he was like, just looked at me like I was crazy. And then there was a 5-hour plane ride to Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City as it is now, where my family was. And there I was greeted with a lot of warmth. Like, Vietnam is super, super hot, but it was a different type of warmth. Because over there, my whole entire family came out to greet me, and say they missed me, they hadn't seen me in so long, and I felt a lot of love. Like that warmth feeling you get when you open Christmas presents with your family around the Christmas tree. It was something I never ever felt before. And my whole entire time there, it was honestly the best moments of my life because I just never spent enough time with my family over here. Because my parents are always at work and my brother's always at school. So whenever I would go home, I would always be alone and the house would be empty. When I was over there, there were things I never realized before because I just wasn't old enough to. My aunt always did little things for me. My parents did too. In the morning, she would always have fresh cut fruit for me in the market and put it in the fridge because she knew I liked it cold. Even though she had a huge family to take care of, she still did that for me. My dad always turned up the AC in the morning because it was super hot, and there was mosquito spray outside my door so there wouldn't be mosquitoes. And it was just small things like that made me appreciate my family a lot more when I went over to Vietnam. I spent my whole entire time there, and we stuck together like glue. But when I finally had to go back, it was so surreal because I was like, wow, I'm actually leaving my family. When I came back to Oregon, even though it was my home, it didn't feel like it because my family wasn't here with me. my house felt isolated and empty. And it just felt wrong. I felt like a stranger in my house for a couple weeks, and it just made me feel so empty inside. And I finally understood how I felt when I got a call from my parents. I knew I was going to do this. I finally understood how I felt when I got a call from my parents, and there was that warm feeling again. It's all that love and sense of belonging. And I realized that a house does not make your home. A home is where the heart of the people are. So, more of the story is you have to, good things have to end, and you just truly appreciate them. Because if you don't, you'll regret it. And that is the prime example of how hard it is to come up and tell a story that's true about your life. So let's do one more round of applause. That was great. Fantastic. All right, so our next storyteller, give a round of applause for Gus.
Alright, so my story is from when I was in second grade, so everything's a little bit exaggerated in that way, so just roll with it. So, me and my friend Andrew, he's here today, I don't know, we decided to play basketball after school one day at Ridgeway Elementary. So, go through the school day, I'm really excited to just whoop his ass at basketball. And so, we show up at the court after school, and I show up, he shows up, none of us have a basketball. It's just terrible. So we're like, what do we do? We're like, I don't know. So we go back to my house, right? We're like, we can go on the trampoline or anything. But we show up, and my dad is already there. So he looked tired, and he's like, hey guys, you guys want to roll with me in the car? We'll go somewhere. And we're like, he doesn't tell us where we're going, and we just, we're like, yeah, it'll be great. So we get in the car, you know, we close the door, strap up, and my dad turns on the car, boom, boom, and you know when like you have all the windows up and then you roll one window down halfway and it kind of just, like the whole ride. So just, I didn't want to say anything to Andrew, but it just the whole ride that was going through my head. And we still don't know where we're going, right? So we roll up to this unmarked building on the corner of this place. It's just a white building, windows are tinted, doors like just shut, and we're like, so, okay. And my dad's like, okay, you guys wait in the car. I'm gonna go get something. We're like, what's this, some secret agent shit right here? And so we're waiting, we're like in silence. We don't even know what's happening. So he goes inside, he comes back with this white refrigerated box, and we're just like, this is getting weird. So he gets in the car, click, click, vroom, vroom, the whole time. Okay, we get back home, and me and Andrew are waiting inside. My dad goes to the backyard. In the backyard, there's a concrete patio. There's like a little fireplace, and the grass is over there. And so we kind of want to see what he's doing. So we do this stupid thing where we think you won't see us looking at him, but what we do is through the back window, we get a mirror, and look at him, and you can see us right back through the mirror. Like we're done for that. But and he's like, okay, what are you guys doing? Come over here. So he brings us outside, and we're kind of like, oh, plan didn't work, damn it. So he opens up the box, and he just reaches inside, palms a crab. There's just a crab. And we're like, what's that for? And he just, you know? And he's just like, okay, you, who wants to kill it? Yeah, so we're just like, what? What? We're not gonna kill the crab, what? It's a crab, it's alive. It's literally alive. And so, and he's like, here's the fireplace, and it's just, bing! And it's dead. The eyes over there, guts over there, brains are all over our shoes and legs. We're frozen. We don't even know what to do. We're shocked, right? So, and that happens 3 more times, and we're in silence. We don't know what to do. It is amazing how my dad just did that. He's not a supervillain or anything, okay, guys? He's a cool guy. But he just killed like 3 animals in front of us. And he's like, oh, aha! Here's dinner. And that was the end of that day.
Our next storyteller, please clap up, Jack Chase.
I have to hold this thing. That's short. Okay, so writing a story is hard, you know. Making it interesting is even more difficult, and when it all has to fit into a theme, like, you don't really know what to do. So when I have to write this story about endings, like, I didn't know what I was going to do, right? And in English class, when I don't know what to do, I look out the window, or it's more like a row of windows, you know? And it's really convenient because my desk is facing right at the window, so I can just kind of like stare like this, and no one's going to notice. So I was looking out the window, and usually something will come to me, you know, like I'll be like, that's a good idea. But this time, nothing was working out. I saw some birds, I saw a plane, you know, I saw some clouds out the window, but I didn't really see any good ideas. And so then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Because the teacher's going to come around in like 5 or 10 minutes, and I have no idea what I'm going to write about for this story. So I take a look at my, notebook and see what I've written down so far, and I have 2 ideas. One of them is about the time in 2nd grade when my friend moved, and that's like okay, I could make a story out of that and it'd be fine, but I don't really want to do that. And then the other one is about like the end of my summer, which was really boring, and like no one wants to hear about how my boring summer ended. Like that just kind of sucks, right? So then I look again at the list of prompts, see, maybe like some long lost memory of like when my goldfish died, maybe people like that, but I never had a goldfish and no ideas were there, so yeah, I was pretty much stuck. And at this point, I was like getting really nervous because it was like 5 minutes until he was going to be like, okay, like what do you have? And I would have nothing. So I just kind of get into the state where I'm like, dang, I guess I have this like bad writer's block, and I don't really know how to solve it. Like, I wish this would just end. And then that's when it hit me. I was like, wait, what if my story about endings is about me finding to an end of not knowing what to do about my story, right? So then I think this is like the greatest idea since like sliced bread or whatever. So then I like immediately like write it down, and I was in this like weird little gremlin hunch like this, on my desk, and then I just sit up straight, and I'm just like looking around at everyone, making sure no one heard my thoughts, because that'd be like not good. This is my idea. No one's taking this from me, So I've written it down, and then I just kind of sit in this like weird state of like trying to comprehend what I've written, and like I feel like my third eye has like opened up and I can see the entire universe, or like I've realized I've been living in a matrix the whole time. So I just feel like crazy. I have like all this energy and stuff. Like if it'd be normal to like jump around the room, I'd probably do that, but I didn't because that's kind of weird. So then eventually I see the teacher, Mr. Pregnant, start to like saunter over to me, and then I get a little worried because like this idea is kind of weird and unorthodox, like writing about what you're writing about, So then I get worried, like, what if he doesn't let me do it? Because like I'm so set on doing this idea right now that if he doesn't let me do it, I'll be like heartbroken, So he's gotten up to me, and I'm sitting at my desk, like this, and then he's like looming over me with his like bald head, like intense gaze, glasses, and it's weird, and I get really, really, really intimidated. Like, I've never been more intimidated by anyone ever in that moment. And so I realized, okay, I need to sell this idea, like, really well. So I just kind of, like, go through my first two, like, oh, okay, you know, this one about my friend in second grade moving, and, like, the time my summer ended. And then I have this cool idea. Okay, wait. Okay, what about the time, what about my story about endings is about me ending on what I'm going to choose? And he kind of looks up at the ceiling, puts his hand in, like, the thinking pose, you know? And he just goes, and I'm like, okay, is that a good you know, is that a bad like, I need to know. And then he just looks back down at me and goes, yeah, sure, that's a good idea, you can work with that, see what happens. And I just nod my head like, yeah, sure, that's a perfectly reasonable idea. But in my brain, I'm like, okay, green light, go, you're clear for takeoff, like, get out there, you know. And so then I immediately start writing. But then I get stuck again because I don't really know how to start this because I have to write about me writing, which I can't write about until I've written it. So I'm stuck again, right? And I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, dang, writing a story's hard, you know? And then I realized, wait, that's a really good way to, like, start a story, you know? So then I wrote that down, and then I said it like 4 minutes ago or whatever, and then I did it in my class, and then I won somehow, and now I'm here, and now I'm feeling pretty cool. So yeah, that's how my writer's block came to an end. Thank you guys.
So our next performer is going to be Sean.
Hi, my name's Sean Liu, and the title is My Two-Sided 3D Story. I believe everyone is great at least one thing. If you don't think you are, you just haven't found it yet. I used to be great at something, and that something was Taekwondo. My first sport, I got as far as a 2nd degree black belt. Taekwondo is a mix of Kung Fu, Karate, and other traditional Korean martial arts. Where return is Baro, where turnaround is Dura Dura, where attention is Chariot, where Bao is Chungye, where ready is Junbi, where 1, 2, 3 is Panadol set. Others believe everyone's created to survive to create, born to live, live to die, and that everyone has a purpose in life, to be a farmer, baker, librarian, a blacksmith, to master an art. My first memories from Taekwondo started when I was 4 years old, breaking little wooden boards that shattered into splinters. The other memories started at wooden tables to create new things. As I grew older, my memories consisted of tournaments and getting my teeth kicked out by an opponent blinded by anger, fighting like a chicken with its head cut off. Other memories consist of creativity and surviving the night, running from the dangers in the dark, living in fear of spiders. As time went on, I made a goal to achieve more and to be the greatest. Year after year, medal after medal, I was actually good at something. I always came out first. Other memories consist of dreams, to be a redstone engineer, the king of my world. I never knew I'd quit Taekwondo and leave my second family. I got 5 gold medals in the past 5 tournaments. I was going for my 6th. My last match, 5 points away from gold. She kicked for my head. I moved, shifted my weight, spun, and kicked for hers. And actually hit her really hard. She went, Her head flew back faster than I could apologize and say sorry. I was DQ'd, disqualified. I had just hit a DQ, a drama queen. They milked that moment, and I ended up losing. I quit Taekwondo and haven't returned since. But other memories consist of the end, where I played as Steve and fought Glydia, the Ender Dragon, graciously named by the Minecraft crew. In the end, I was encompassed by Endermen who hated eye contact and water. I prepared my whole life, learning, mining, farming, crafting. As I shot my last arrow, the dragon died. I took her egg and hopped into the portal back home. Little me sitting on the other side of the monitor, watching as the credits rolled by. Yes, I'm talking about Minecraft. A game myself and other people have played and sometimes still do. Thank you, Notch, for making over 122 millions of our lives and childhoods amazing, including mine. And thank you guys for listening to my magnum opus.
All right, so our last scored performance of today is going to be from Kirk.
Alright, so basically, this is the summer of 2008. I'm 5 years old. So, for me, there's two good things about summer. No school, and my birthday falls on the 21st. Now, in the mind of a 5-year-old, I don't know when the 21st, like what day it's going to land on. I just know it's the 21st. So, this is around the time where I couldn't really afford new shoes in Orange County, so I used to rock Vans everywhere, mostly because they're pretty cheap. And the Vans headquarters are right there in Anaheim. So I would always wear Vans. And my mom ended up getting a job for someone who works at the Vans headquarters. So we were always plugged with Vans. So Vans were always my thing, and I'd wear them, and I do to this day. I wear them till like they're almost unwearable. So my birthday's coming up. I know I'm gonna get something. I don't really know what it is. My uncle comes and he gives me a pair of Nike Cortezes. Those are the shoes that I have on right now. So for me, having these Nikes is like mind blowing because I can't even afford a big name brand shoes. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, whoa! I just got a pair of Nikes. So when he gives them to me, he tells me that these shoes represent your culture. Your people have worn these for decades, and every crease that you put on them is unique. It's your crease. Every wall you go tag, there's gonna be a drop of spray paint that gets on them. That's your story. So I never lived that life. I never tagged walls, but I did put creases on them, and you know, it's the end of summer, kind of like September, so school's about to start. So I have to make a decision because I've been invited to a magnet school, which is mostly white. There's 3 other students of color, one of which being my sister, who's pretty light-skinned. So I got to make a decision. Am I going to wear my Nike Cortezes to school? These represent my culture. And this is time for a different story, but at this point in my life, I'm afraid to be different. I'm afraid to be brown. I'm afraid to be Mexican going into an all-white school. So I guess I don't really know what to do. So I put my Nike Cortezes in the box. I put them under my bed, and for 9 more months, I'm not gonna show my culture. I'm gonna pretend to be white. I want to fit in. So fast forward to now, I wear my Nike Cortezes. I don't care what they represent to someone else. I know what they represent to me. And I'm not afraid to be brown anymore. I'm not afraid to have color in me. So that was the end of summer of 08.
Thanks, sir. Okay, so that was our last toured performance. We've got a couple more for you. So Math Genius there's 2 of you. It's now your time to sort of tabulate. We'll give you a little room while we have a couple more stories. And it's now my pleasure to welcome up the Interscholastic Story Slam winner from last year and my co-host, Anna Cabello. Okay, so I'm going to be telling you guys the story that I did sophomore and junior year. Forgive me, it's been a year since I performed it, so it might not be perfect. So it's the summer of about 2004, and I'm visiting my grandparents for the summer. I'm from Wisconsin, and they're here in Oregon. And, you know, I'm doing my thing. It's a good morning. I'm eating my cereal, and it's whole grain, which I hate. I hate whole grain anything. But then they compromised and they gave me vanilla milk, which is actually really good. You should try it. And I'm sitting there, you know, eating my cereal begrudgingly. And my grandmother, she's Italian, so she's like in the kitchen, you know, kneading the dough, you know, doing her thing. And then there's my grandfather, you know, this Puerto Rican guy, a cigar hanging out of his mouth, you know, doing reps in the back because he's weirdly buff. Like he is a 6-year-old man with like 8-pack. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I missed the train, but whatever.
And so I'm sitting there eating my cereal, and then I look to my right, and there's a window next to the dining table. And out on the curb, I see this giant van, and in yellow lettering, there's the letters FBI. At the time, I didn't know, they just looked like letters, but the color black and yellow really freaked me out, and I'm like, so Grandma, there's a van out there. And she turns and she looks, and the color drains from her face, and her eyes go comically wide, and she grabs my wrist and yanks me from the table and puts me into the back where the computer room is. And she's loading up, the computer, and, if you've ever played Purple Palace on Windows, it's the greatest thing in the world. And so it's not even loaded before a bomb sounds in the front of the house, and it's not actually a bomb, thank God. It's the FBI kicking down our door. And in National Geographic, there's like the stampedes hurting through the Sahara, that's what it sounded like with their booted footsteps running down the hallway. And this guy comes in. He's like, 8'4", looming over us in full riot gear and a gun. And then his head is so bald that if you shine it up, you can see your reflection. It was kind of intimidating. He's like, get to the living room now. And I'm like, oh. And my grandma's like, no, it's fine. Just, leave her here. It's, and then he's like, get to the living room. And we're like, ah. So we all end up in the living room, and my grandfather is sitting there, hands behind his back, and I'm sitting there, and they cuff my wrist too tight, too cold, pinching my skin to my grandmother's wrist, and they're going through the house. I mean, it's tornado chaos. There's books being torn apart page by page. They're kicking in electronics. They're unscrewing all of the outlet caps. They're doing whatever they can to find whatever the hell they need to find. And I'm sitting there, and there's snot running into my mouth, and I can taste it, and there's tears running down, and I can't hear. Everything is ringing, and I am just a scared little 4-year-old girl not knowing what to do, and her parents are thousands of miles away. And then they separate us for questioning, and I'm sitting there, and I'm hysterical at this point. And then this guy comes up, and he's like the shrimpy guy that they felt bad for in the academy, and they're like, okay, well, here's a badge, and here's like a water gun, here you go. And he comes over, he's like, how you doing, champ? Like, I'm fine. Like, what does he expect? And then he does the unthinkable. He takes out of his pocket a grape lollipop. And much like whole grain cereal, grape lollipops are the bane of my existence. I hate the flavor so bad. But I'm so distraught that I take it, unwrap it, and stick it in my mouth. It's the greatest thing in the world. But then, my grandmother's wrinkly old hand comes up, takes the sucker stick and rips it out of my mouth. The lollipop hits my teeth, my head rings from it, and she looks at me with this dead, cold stare, and it's like, now is not the time. Like, not the time for what? A grape lollipop in the middle of an FBI raid? When is the time? And now it's years later, and the math is wrong from the last time I told this story, so let's put it at like 11 or 12 years. And I'm out here living my best life, and they're in jail for stealing $3 million from an armored car. Yeah, I know, it's really impressive. No, but in all seriousness, what they did was illegal. It was wrong. It put my entire family in danger. And for a long time, I was a pawn in their game. I listened to their I love yous, and you're the best, and, you're the greatest thing that's ever happened to us, But, being lied to for years and years and years and trusting the people who committed serious crimes is really tough. And, I might not see my grandfather until I'm 30, and my relationship with my grandmother is forever ruined, and I will never see my uncle again. But at the end of the day, it was them. They got in trouble. They did their thing, and I'm out here feeling and being a better person because of it. Thank you. So next up we have Dewey. Give a round of applause to Dewey.
Right, so I will tell you guys a story about Candy Andy got polio, So this is my homeboy. I met him in the 4th grade, but he wasn't from America, right? So I was sitting in class one day, just practicing my cursive and everything, and this Asian, can I cuss on this? No? Oh, okay. This Asian boy walks in, right? He walks in, okay, we have a new student, his name's Andy. my first when the first time I saw Andy, he had like hair bangs like this. It looked like a barcode, you know. And I was like, whoa, okay, some hot fire. And then he sat down right next to me. I thought he spoke English. I was like, hey, what's your name? He's like, huh? What's your name? Huh? Then I realized he didn't speak English, so I had to go back to the mother language, you know, the and I was like, okay, he understands, you know. And it turns out we go to the same babysitter. I know I was in 4th grade, but my mom didn't trust me at home. We're walking to the babysitter, right? I'm conversating with him. I was like, what do you like about America? I was like, he didn't really respond. I mean, I don't know. And then we were just sitting down. He pulls out from his backpack the ramen. I was like, oh, you gonna heat that up? He didn't. He opened the package, like, you know, the flavor package. He put it in the ramen and he started breaking it apart. He's like, what the hell? What the hell? And then he's like, no. You sure? No, hell no. And then we went to school, right? Now, this is a real drama story. Okay. It was pouring out rain. And I was like, okay, inside recess. And then me and my homeboy talked. We were sitting on the sideline. We were just messing around with some other Jenga pieces. And then, now Bob comes in to see. You guys know Bobby? Most of you guys know Bobby. Bobby Nguyen, Bong P. So, he was sitting down. All right. Next thing you know, I hear scream. Like, what? I look over. Next thing you know, I see Andy biting Bobby's arm. Straight up biting it. He's like, ah. I was like, wait a minute, this ain't right. I was like, whoa. And next thing you know, everyone pulls her apart. Eddie would not like, yo. I was like, okay, all right. And then we got all of them apart. And then Bob was like, damn, he bit me. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. And then now you just see Andy over in the sideline just playing with his little Jenga pieces. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. He's pretty heated right now. And then Bobby's like, now Bobby's he's hot-headed too. Next thing you know, we head up to the principal's office. And the walk there, I have Bobby on the left side, Andy on the right side. What? Okay. And then we walk into the room. And then what happened? The principal, I think it was Ms. Nguyen, not the pre-cal teacher, but okay. Ms. Nguyen was like, so what happened? And Bob was like, I don't know, I was just playing with the Jenga pieces. And then Andy told me he took my Jenga pieces. I was like, what? He took my Jenga pieces. And I told him, you take the Jenga pieces? I was like, we were sharing it. And then I asked Andy, you guys are sharing it? What the heck? And I'm just translating, you know, because I talk 2 languages. Well, 3, you count Spanish, you know, hola, como estás, you know. But then, I was just translating, I don't know. But I was just translating, and the more I listened, I was like, damn, Andy's kind of crazy. You know, like, he bit someone over some Jenga pieces, and then we walked, and then everything got resorted. Bob got blamed for most of it. I don't know why. It's probably because he took the Jenga pieces and everything. I went down, I sat down with Andy, I was like, want to play some Jenga? All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, so that's freaking me out a little bit, but so my daughter's here with me today, and she's a little sick, so I'm going to tell a story that has to do with our theme this year and my daughter, okay? So this is about a year ago. She's 9. It's like 9:30 at night, and I'm putting her to bed, which is too late for her at 9 on a school night, right? And she says, oh yeah, I lost a tooth. And she goes to her backpack, and she pulls the tooth out of the little, you know, in elementary school when they give you the little treasure case to put them in, right? She's like, I have this tooth. Now, here's the thing you gotta understand. She lives half the time with her dad and half the time with me, but at her dad's house, the tooth fairy doesn't come, okay? He insists that there's no tooth fairy in Brazil, so there's no tooth fairy at their house. So they've learned to save their teeth, bring them to my house, and like, you know, we made up this story about, well, the tooth fairy just knows to find you here, you know, whatever, it's fine. Okay, so we'll put it under your pillow. And I'm like, crap, I don't have any cash. right? And I'm like, what do I do? So I put her to bed, and I'm running around the house, and I'm like digging in my purse. I'm like, go out to the car, and I'm digging in like the cup holder, and I'm like, down near the laundry where the change comes out of the clothes, right? And I'm digging everywhere, and I get this handful of change. And I'm like, usually the tooth fairy does something special, like a $2 bill or a silver dollar, something like that, right? I'm like, I got this is crappy. I got this handful of change. What am I going to do with it? So, in our house, the tooth fairy also writes letters. And she writes tiny letters. She writes really tiny cursive, right? Like little tiny notes. And so the tooth fairy writes a note to Mila. And she says, "Dear Mila, I hope you don't mind all the change. It was getting so heavy that I couldn't fly anymore." Right? So then I got to get the note, and I got to get this handful of change under her pillow while she's sleeping, right? And, it's kind of hard to move change without making noise. So I've got this handful, I'm like, and I'm trying to, one finger at a time, under the pillow, try to let go of the change. There's a couple of clinks, and no, she's not. So she sleeps through it. And I'm like, whew, right? So in the morning, she wakes up, and I'm like, hey, sweetie, did the tooth fairy come? She's like, oh, yeah. I was like, what did she say on the note? She said the change was getting too heavy for her to fly. And then she looks at me, she goes, Mom, I know it's you. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah. So there was this one time when you and Nima, that's my mom, you were putting the money under my pillow and I was still awake. Now here's the thing. My mother had not been to visit in like a year and a half. So this girl's been finessing tooth fairy money for all that time. And that was the end of the tooth fairy at our house. Okay, so we are at that point where we're about to announce winners. We need all of our storytellers up on stage because we need to take a couple of photos of all of the people that told stories tonight, and we're going to give them another round of applause. Let's give another round of applause to all of our judges and timekeepers and math boys. And this would not be happening if it weren't for Mrs. Sullivan, who arranges all of this stuff for the Story Slam and the Poetry Slam, so we have these opportunities. Okay, are you ready? Can we get a drum roll? Okay, we're good. In third place, Kirk. In second place, Gus. He had an appointment. Somebody tell him he had an appointment. And then our winner, who's going to have a place saved for them at the Madison Story Slam on the 21st, Jack! All of them were fantastic, were they not? We're going to take a couple of photos of them, and then I'm going to ask that you guys, if you're here with a teacher, you look to your teacher for some direction right now, because we got a few minutes early. And then if you're not here with a teacher, hang out over here for a minute.